Victor worked at a local enterprise as a driver of a timber truck. He delivered wood to the sawmill from Siberian forest. On weekends, Victor used to go hare or partridge hunting. In his way, he provided his family with meat, but he never took extra. One autumn day, Victor went to the forest to get berries, but suddenly he heard a sound. It was a long whining, more like a howl. Victor was surprised and alert. It sounded like a wolf howl. But why in the daytime? And then he thought that animals sometimes behave unpredictably, so he shouldn't be surprised, and went on turning towards the village. But the strange sound intensified and didn't stop for a second. The sound became a kind of wailing and pitiful one. Victor stopped and decided to find out what was going on. He carefully pushed the bushes apart and was stunned by what he saw. On the grass, under a bush, lay a teenage wolf cub with a bloody, torn ear and a deep, glowing wound on his side. He lay there unmoving, whimpering pitifully, as if he were crying. Victor looked around, but saw no relatives of the wounded animal, and realized that the little one was all alone. When he noticed Victor, the wolf cub didn't growl or grin. He just stopped and looked at the man with a kind and pleading in his eyes. Victor, as a hunter, understood that the wolf cub had probably received these wounds while hunting a boar, which had defended itself and hit him with its fangs. Probably he's still unexperienced and didn't calculate his strength, the man thought. He should not leave him here. The wound on his side was very deep. It could not be licked, as animals usually do. Victor cautiously approached him, squatted down so that he realized that the man didn't want to harm him. Then he stretched out his hand to him, stroked his head, and then took off his jacket, put the wolf cub on it, and quickly went to the village. At home, he told his wife everything, and they decided to keep the wolf cub, to cure it, to feed it until it gains strength, and then it will be seen what to do with it further. Perhaps the wolf cub will decide where it's better to be, with us or in a while, they decided. Anya treated and sewed up the laceration, and soon it was healed. Victor made him a big, good quality box. The wolf cub was pure grey, and they gave him the name Grey-Ragged Ear. That's how he came to live with them. A year passed. Grey became a big, strong wolf, but in behavior he was kind. But he still struck fear into the villagers. After all, it is a wolf, they said, and already began to express their discontent. You can't keep a wolf in yard. They had to close Grey in the big enclosure that Victor has built for him. Soon Grey was lonely. He lost his appetite and began to howl at the whole village. Victor was embarrassed in front of his fellow villagers for these nightly songs coming from Grey. Finally, the family, after consulting with each other, decided to let him go into the wild. On late evening, Victor opened the enclosure. Grey looked at everyone carefully, as if saying goodbye, and ran off into the darkness. Since then, they had not seen him again. But they were happy for him that he lived a free life, as befitted these animals. 2 years passed. Victor, as before, gathered his equipment and went hare hunting. He walked through the forest, looked around, admiring the white snowflakes swirling in the air. The winter landscape of the taiga was mesmerizing. Victor walked along the clearing and then turned into a forest thicket and then suddenly cried out in pain. His foot had caught in a large trap, apparently set by poachers for a large animal. It was a good thing that he was wearing thick felt boots, otherwise his foot would have been crushed. But he couldn't walk any further. His leg immediately swelled, and Victor realized that he had a hidden fracture. He lay down on his backpack and began to think how he should go on, how he could get to the village. Especially it was getting dark and the village was still far away, so Victor decided to crawl. Gritting his teeth, he crawled to the edge of the forest. And there was already a village beyond the field, he thought. It was already evening, but it was impossible to stop, otherwise I would freeze, Victor thought. And the worst thing at this time is wolves. If they smell helpless prey, it's the end. They will kill me at any moment, Victor thought, with fear in his heart. And just when he thought about it, at the same time he heard a wolf howl from behind, and then from the left and right. Victor realized that he was surrounded by wolves, and he had already resigned himself to his fate, hoping only for a miracle. Suddenly, a huge wolf appeared right in front of him, apparently the leader of the pack. He started to approach the man, but suddenly stopped. That's it. I'm finished. The man thought with horror, but suddenly he saw that this wolf had a torn ear, and forgetting all this horror, he remembered Gray, who also had a torn ear. Victor was already almost sure that it was the same wolf, and the beast also recognized its savior by its scent. Gray, torn ear. Here we met, Victor said with a smile. When Wolf heard his voice, it wagged his tail and let him know that it recognized him. At that moment, the other wolves began to approach from behind, growling and grinning. Gray understood the predatory mood of his kin. Growling viciously at them, he looked at Victor again, letting him know that he remembered him and had nothing to fear. The man looked into the Gray's eyes and crawled on, almost forgetting the pain in his leg. The wolf's kindness to him at the same time overshadowed the pain. Gray accompanied Victor on his way as he crawled, occasionally growling at his skin not to come close to him, so the pack would follow behind. After 2 hours, Victor crawled to the village. The Gray looked at him carefully once again, stood there for a while, then turned around and ran off into the forest to his kin. The man looked after him. Thank you, Gray-Red Deer. Thank you, my friend, for not forgetting me and saving me from death. Maybe we will meet again, and I'll be of use to you. With joy in his heart, Victor thought, and knocked off the door of his house. Dear viewers, if you liked this video, then give us a like and subscribe to our channel. See you later.